Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today. Saturday, we're relaxing as per usual. More of an earlier episode because I was like, why not, record now or something like that. Normally I wait for my voice to be like more warmed up or whatever, but now we have Saturday dulcet tones, or I know maybe it's a bit presumptuous to say dulcet, but yeah. I don't know if anyone else uses OBS like on a regular, but I feel like OBS every single time I close it now has been saying, and like I reopen it, it goes like, hey, OBS didn't shut down properly. Do you want to start it in safe mode? And I'm like, what? Well, we'll get onto that in a second. Hello everyone. We're now in Fawnhallow. It's 12:12 PM on Saturday, January 27th, 2024. To be fair, I think it happened because of an initial update, whatever new version this is on, and it's probably because for a while it was probably because every single time I would exit out of OBS I would just click a red X in the top right, and then it was only like recently, or well, not that recent, only after the pop-up started appearing, that I actually probably looked up at OBS had and was like, oh, there's an actual exit button, which I've never used. And then I started using that for a while and it didn't give that pop-up anymore, but now the pop-up is like back again. So I'm just like, I don't know, like maybe I'm closing it like too quickly after something or other happened. February 4th, happy birthday to Lily, noted. And I will immediately forget about it on the actual date itself, I'm sure. But yeah, it's I don't know, safe mode. It's always asked me to run it in safe mode, and I never do, which I feel like one day it's gonna like bite me back. I'm just gonna be like, oh, well, you should have ran it in safe mode, otherwise, this entire thing could have been prevented, etc., etc. But alas, I've not done that yet, so who knows what the future may hold, I suppose, for this. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I mean, safe mode is like a nice thing to have in, well, any sort of electronic. I don't know how many times in your life do you think you've had to boot something in safe mode? I certainly had to do it numerous times on some like old computers. Like I don't know if I told the story. I must have told the story before. I don't really remember. Somehow I got a virus on like my not my old computer, not my old computer, but my old computer, I think. So like my first computer or something I had, which was, it was a terrible computer. It was just like some pre-made Windows Vista 1 bought from like PC World or something. It was terrible. It sucked, and maybe that's an old computer. Hold on. So one before this was, I actually don't remember the timeline of my computers anymore. But yeah, like it was this terrible like pre-made Windows Vista 1 or something, but it was still my first computer nonetheless, and obviously I didn't know about building computers then or anything like that, and my parents obviously bought it for me because, like I have that money, I suppose, as a kid. Well, not really a kid, I suppose as like a teen. Maybe I threw some pocket money at it, I don't know, I honestly can't remember. I did have a knack for saving up large amounts of money just to buy larger purchases, I suppose, when I was younger. Anyway, not my point. The point is, I don't know how, at some point I got like a virus on it. I don't even know what I was doing, because I didn't really do any like illegal activities, I suppose, on a computer or anything like that. So like, it's not like I was going to like a shady like streaming service site or something. Not that I can think of. Obviously I must have done something, but it's probably gone to memory. Maybe I clicked on like a phishing link or something on Neopets or something like that. Generally, no clue, no recollection of what happened. The only thing I remember is I ended up getting a virus on that computer, and it was actually like a ransomware virus, is what I recall. So it's the sort of thing where like you couldn't access any of your files or something because I'm not sure if it was quite ransomware, but it was like it reminded me of ransomware. Anyway, that stressed me out a lot as like a 12-year-old or something trying to deal with a virus for the first time. But Windows safe mode, to the rescue. I don't even know how I searched it up because I didn't even have a mobile phone at that time to use as like a, what do I do in this situation? But all I remember, what eventually solved it, like I spent like the entire evening like trying to fix my computer and like being super stressed out because I was like, oh, my parents are going to be so angry at me because I've like messed up my computer, it cost so much money, I'm going to have to get a new computer, etc, etc. But Windows safe mode to rescue, I remember like seeing on one of the times I started it up being like boot in safe mode. So I booted it in safe mode, and I was like, whoa, I can actually access my computer again properly. And then I was like, now I can actually like connect to the internet and actually find out what I can do. And it was just like, oh, download this antivirus software. I don't know if it was Malwarebytes or if it was something else, and then I installed it and like safe mode and like I ran it and it like got rid of a virus, and I was like, nice. It was a very stressful afternoon / evening, I suppose, for a preteen to particularly go through. But you know, ever since then, I don't think I've ever had a virus on my computer. Well, not that I can think of, at least. So you know, but you know, the back of my mind, always Windows safe mode, something I fall back on. Also, my like I think it was that same computer. I always like toward the end of its lifespan, I always had to like boot things in Windows safe mode because the graphics card was dying. Or something like that, and it was not stable enough in anything but Windows safe mode. So there was a period of time between like that computer on its last legs and me getting a new computer where I basically just used Windows safe mode to like access the internet, which is honestly silly as heck is probably what I would describe it as. But you know, like sometimes it do be like that. Does it usually be like that? No, not really, I would say, but sometimes. Question mark. I forgot what I was going to say. So yeah, safe mode. I don't think I've ever had to boot up safe mode on my phone, to be perfectly honest. Like, not what I can think of. Like, I'm not really sure what safe mode necessarily does behind the scenes. I'm not like a software programmer. My expectation is it's basically the stripped down, bare minimalist version of like a piece of software or something, right? Like, it only activates the parts it needs to just open up and run. And maybe do basic functions or something. I don't really know. So like all your apps are disabled, presumably. All like other functionalities, not installations, what's it called, modules and stuff like that, all just completely disabled. I don't really know necessarily how that works behind the screen. Again, not a software programmer. Maybe with some sort of flag on every single component part, whether it runs or not. And then safe there's like a safe mode flag or something which turns on. I don't really know, but like I wonder how useful it is, like, in the day-to-day life. I assume if you work in IT, you know, all functionalities that a computer's capable of is probably useful to some capacity, you know, being like, you might have to use this at some point. I don't really know. One of my friends actually works in IT, so I guess I should probably just ask her, if anything, but, everyone knows that this conversation will just be, like, it will disappear into the ether as soon as this video is finished recording. Do I have any other safe mode stories? I think I had another one. Like, we had a like family computer, which was like a Windows Me computer, which we got when I was like 2 or something. So it's like really old. Which I think we had to boot. I accidentally booted in safe mode once, and I got really confused. I was like, why is everything so big? That's all I recall. The other memory I have of that computer is like the screensaver I would save it on would be like a spiral thing. It was like a DVD, you know, screensaver with it bouncing around the screen, except for it was a spiral or something. But the thing is, it didn't actually like turn your screen to black and do anything like that. It was just like your home desktop normally, just like with this translucent spiral going across it, which I gotta say probably saves no screens whatsoever. You know, I don't know necessarily the origin behind screensaver, but from the etymology of it itself, I assume it's something to conserve battery power, because like displaying just like a completely black, like turning off all the LEDs, I suppose, in the computer screen is probably a lot more energy efficient than displaying whatever it is for forevermore. At least that's my guess. Whether that holds any truth to it or not, I've genuinely got no clue. But anyway, I remember booting our computer in safe mode. I still remember the desktop background for our computer. It was like this sky. It was a sky of blue filled with like fluffy white clouds. Anyway, but booting out in safe mode is very common. Booting in safe mode in general is very confusing. Because like everything's like so large and like supersized, right? Because I guess in safe mode it doesn't boot up whatever like Windows customization features or something, so it just has it on the default. The default as like max accessibility, because that's probably what you would require, right? Now I think about it, I'm surprised that virus wasn't able to bypass the safe mode functionalities. You would have thought if you wanted like a truly effective virus. No, I don't know anything about like virus or black hat programming or whatever. But I would have thought if you wanted like a truly deadly virus, you would just like have it somehow bypass the safe mode check, so it would still boot on safe mode. I don't know necessarily how difficult that is to do. Presumably Windows has the features for that. Like I'd imagine these sort of things are just sort of like back and forth fights between, you know, like the malicious programmers who are trying to steal data, who try to like ransom things, etc., etc., and then the actual software developers who are like, all right, we need to safeguard about every single one of these attacks. And honestly, it's not just safeguard. You have to safeguard people from themselves as well. You know, why it's so deep. Humankind is its own worst enemy. That's not really what I meant, but more like safeguard against people making stupid decisions, like clicking on suspicious links. You know, you have your elderly grandma just being like, click here to talk to your grandson Jason or something like that, and it's like, oh, you know, Windows needs to have a functionality. Windows Defender needs to come in and be like, yo, grandma, don't click on that link, that's not the Book of Faces or anything like that. You gotta be careful, you know, what suspicious activity you click on, and then they'd be like, ignore this warning and click on it anyway. I mean, it's like, wow, I warned you. Which is probably why there's like there's default Windows safety feature, like what's it called, Windows security? I don't really know. Which, honestly, I'm going to be... If they don't already, it should be on Mac's, like, security features by default. And you might be like, why? And I think... I mean, if you think about it, the people who don't want it on Macs at all time, who want to be like, okay, I don't want this, like, popping up every single time I do a download, or every single time I go to a website with... maybe which is potentially unsecured or something. They are the exact people who will know how to turn off this Windows Microsoft Security Defense feature. The people who don't know how to turn it off are the people who probably need it the most, right? Well, then I guess there's some sort of like not grey area, but the sort of like the grey space in between where most people, I assume, fall into, who are like aware enough to be annoyed by Microsoft Security Defender appearing every single time, but, you know, not aware enough that you could actually like lower its management level or something. I don't know. That's a question for product teams, I suppose. What's the word? Focus group and find out. I don't know. Oh my god, my throat. What do you think a human safe mode would be? You know, you wake, or you might be like, what do you mean by that? Like you boot up in the morning, and by boot, you know, I guess the more human way to describe it would be you wake up in the morning, and you're feeling like P. Diddy. But you're not going to grab your glasses and head out the door, and because it's not time for you to hit the city, because something is wrong with you booting up this morning. You know, and you're just like, all right, you know, I've got to boot up in like human safe mode. What's that gonna like? What sort of things do you still need functioning in human safe mode? Obviously, I feel you still need some form of brain capacity. You still need to be able to breathe, and like, I don't know, and maybe you wouldn't be able to talk or something like that. I'm just trying to think, like, what is... I suppose what I'm really asking here is, like, the heart of the question is, like, what is a necessity for human survival/function? You know, so you can diagnose what's wrong. And then in safe mode, you can, like, slowly turn things back on, and you're like, oh, turn on my liver, turn on my... Well, I don't know, because my assumption is everything is kind of... Well, there's not many things in the human body which is not necessary for survival for some capacity. It's not like, I mean, you could probably turn off your liver temporarily, but you couldn't turn it off permanently, because then the amount of toxins which would build up in your body would not be conducive to healthy living, I would say. Like, you could turn off your breathing, your lung capacity for like maybe 30 seconds or something until you need it again, but there's like very few things which are like not actually required, right? Like, you could turn off your gallbladder, I suppose, like, because you can have your gallbladder removed, right? And then your liver just sort of knows to take over the functionality of creating bile or something, right? And so I read that somewhere. There's also other things you could just like turn off, like the appendix. Like, what does that even do? Who knows? There'd be stuff that you probably didn't even know that you could turn off, right? Like, there was a couple of years ago where wasn't there like a new scientific discovery being like, whoa, we as humans just like genuinely have a whole nother like organ which we didn't know about. I can't remember the details of the organ, but it was something which like the organ was not visible in deceased like cadaver bodies or anything like that, because and let's go craft something, because they were like, they're just like really tiny like little sacks of some fluid. I don't really remember. I might be making this up, by the way. Maybe this is a fever dream I had, which is entirely possible. But like, they couldn't see it in cadavers because the cadavers would be like dehydrated since they died, and then like that invisible organ would like, not invisible organ, like shrink up. And I don't mean organ like you might be picturing like a stomach or a liver. It was like a network of capillary-esque tubes which went around the body, which all connected to like these sacks of like tiny fluid or something. That's what I remember. I don't actually remember the details. And then we just discovered it somehow. Honestly, I don't even know how. Maybe I don't want to find out how. I do want to find out what it's called. New discovery human organ. Tubular salivary glands. Is this it? Scientists say they found a new human organ. I think this might be it. Yeah, a network of fluid-filled cavities that until now were unknown to science. Which is crazy that we can make a discovery as that big. I mean, this, I guess, isn't like the hugest organ in the world, so it's not like, whoa, we didn't know the lungs existed or something like that. This is like the salivary glands. Like, extra salivary glands, I guess. It's pretty cool, though, that can just happen. You know? You can still make big discoveries like that in the first place. There's still so many things left yet to be discovered. Anyway, sorry, that's like a topic for another time, I think. Anyway, I think if scientists didn't know it existed for this long, I think safe mode could probably like disable that on a human safe mode boot. That's my hot take as someone with no more than a GCSE biology education. Oh, Orville, have we seen you here before? No, Wilbur, never mind. Hello, dear. Orville's a big fan of Bruce's coffee too. He asked me to grab him one on the way out. I don't know if I've ever seen you here before. I probably have, I forgot. Shades of fogging up the coffee steam. Can't take him off though, against the regs. I don't know about that one. Obviously when I got passengers, it's safety first. But when I'm solo, I dabble in some skywriting. Well, sky drawing actually. I'm getting better, but cross-hatching's not easy, let me tell you. I can't imagine that's even very possible, but can't risk nodding off. So regs say I gotta get a cup of smooth, perfectly roasted coffee beans before flights. Preferably a dark roast. I know pilots who skip some of their safety checks, but I want my passengers to love flying like I do. So I take care of them the best way I know how. Honestly, very base. You should not skip safety checks, I think, as a pilot of all things. Can't work without some shore leave. Glad they put Quality Cafe here to be our shore. I fly to a lot of islands in my job, and every time I take off for one, the old ticket does a double take. I love flying, but wow, our destination, flying's just going up real high, you know. Wow. I actually don't think I've ever spoken to you, Wilbur, and Brewsters before. Are you only here in the mornings or something? I genuinely don't know. I wonder if there's any other Brewster, like, visitors I'm not aware of. Anyway, yeah, human safe mode. So, you know, we've got this far. We can turn off the tubular salivary glands. We can turn off the appendix. Probably turn off the gallbladder. Probably turn off a lot of things, to be honest. Like, there's probably something which determines, like, how fast your hair grows or something. You probably turn that off in safe mode. I don't know. I don't even know what would be all that useful. You'd have to have like an insane amount of like human biology knowledge to like even make use of that in the first place, right? To be able to like boot up and be like, oh, you know, slowly turn each thing back on. I don't even know if you can do that in safe mode. I don't think I've literally ever tried. As I say, all my interactions with safe mode were when I was much younger, and presumably much less technologically savvy than I am now. So. It's just curious to think about. Curious about you. You might be like, how do you start up safe mode? I actually don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like pressing F12 during a boot screen. Maybe it's F5. It's one of those two. One of them opens up like the BIOS, and the other is safe mode, or something like that. I think. Or no, wait. Maybe you can open up safe mode from a BIOS screen. I don't remember. It's been ages. Like, when's the last time I've been in a BIOS? Like, never. There was going to be more to that sentence, but there really wasn't much else to say. Oh my gosh. What was that? Oh, that was my that was my glasses frame against my pop filter. I forgot I was going to get a different pop filter, because this one's actually quite inconvenient with my new way of set up my computer monitors. Because I had to twist my microphone out very far and then like lift it upwards, I suppose, for it to like tuck away properly. But it doesn't even tuck away properly, so. And I don't even do it that often, because a lot of the times I want my microphone out anyway. But yeah, I'm going to round this episode off here, I think. You know, safe mode. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope you see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.